Well, the development of welfare reform was done at the cabinet level, and the cabinet was sharply split. In fact, most of the members were against the Moynihan-Finch then family security system proposal. As I recall, it was Councilor Arthur Burns, Vice President Agnew were against, Bob Mayo, Paul McCracken, Commerce Secretary Stans, Defense Secretary Laird, all against. And it was really George Shultz who provided the solution that made it possible for the President to embrace the what became the Family Assistance Act over the views of the majority of his cabinet. You know, some people have thought that the President was somehow aloof from the process of both formulating or trying to sell the Family Assistance Plan, but it was my experience it was anything but. And I remember a very important meeting in September of 1970. The bill had emerged from the House successfully. Chairman Wilbur Mills of the Ways and Means Committee had passed it out in late 1969, but it had bogged down in the Senate Finance Committee. And the President got personally involved and invited key members of the Senate Finance Committee out to his home in San Clemente. So it was Chairman Long, it was Wallace Bennett, Senator Miller, Senator Fannin, Senator Ribicoff, Senator Byrd. President, a couple of cabinet secretaries, John Ehrlichman, Pat Moynihan, and little old me. And I took a lot of notes. Memory will fail me, but I have a file box of good notes. And I think the depth of the President's personal involvement in advocacy comes through the notes that I took. He opened the meeting by saying, "We have a certainty of disaster with the present welfare system. And there are risks in what I'm performing, but we have to do something. My cabinet was split," he confessed to the senators over this, "but I think this proposal is the right one." And he went on to say, "The future is in the hands of the men in this room. This is an historic situation. It requires boldness and courage from you." So he laid his prestige on the line with the leadership of the Senate Finance Committee to try to get it out of committee in September 1970. I think what's important for us, especially in the light of what's wrong with government right now, is the policy process that the President engineered in welfare reform in 1969. He created a cabinet-level debate out in the open. Numerous memoranda were fired back and forth between cabinet members and to the President. And this permeated down a couple of levels in the bureaucracy. Staffs were involved. So everybody from the cabinet members down to 2 or 3 levels in several departments in the creation of presidential policy. So we simulated what would be the national debate inside the administration in an open and constructive way, and what came out was a more balanced proposal that had the dividend of having produced a involved and excited administration. That's a tremendous message for future presidents to think about as they approach major policy developments.